So, as it turns out, I'm one of those nerds that loves Five Nights at Freddy's. So you bet your sweet mother a monkey milk that I bought the newest game, Security Breach, the millisecond it hit the PlayStation Store. And you know what? I kinda hated it. Not just because the missions are confusing and I wanted to throat punch every single one of those patrol bots and all the endings are really underwhelming. No, not just that. The game was just broken.
And you are going to be able to talk better. Did you hate the idea that much? Oh, what? What? Whoa, whoa!
The worst instance of this is in the secret final boss of the game. What should have been an intense, thrilling encounter with the Purple Man himself ended up being more broken than a crying child in '83. Everything starts off good, with a cool cutscene, Chica and Gator give a friendly neighbor knock on the doors, and then Roxy is the biggest party pooper ever and stomps in and just breaks the game.
And now I'm out. Okay, where am I? Oh, wow. Freddy, you alright there, pal? So I made it in. Oh no, he got too much juice. Oh no, that's fine. Well, Freddy, oh, he's back. Okay, here we go.
So I decided that I was gonna put this game back together. Well, at least just this boss fight. And I kinda got carried away and made it into a whole game, so... To start this project, I needed to get the animatronics from the game into Unity, the game engine that I use. Luckily, the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise has produced more fan art than brain cells in my head, so I just pulled some free models from Sketchfab. Because of that, I'd like to thank these wonderful people on Sketchfab for providing these models for free. You made my life so much easier. I also decided to use the FNAF 3 Springtrap model just because I like that one the best. So after that, I threw them into Blender, a 3D modeling and animation software, and I changed up their models to match their broken appearances in Security Breach. And I made them some simple animations for things like walking, running, getting stunned, jump scaring. Unity has a built-in AI navigation system, so that made it easy to get them moving around in specific areas in the game. And then I built a basic layout of the area in blocks to work with temporarily. The AI is the most broken thing about Security Breach, so if I was ironically remaking the level not broken, I had to nail this part. So I did what I think Steel Wool was going for. Part of the reason Roxy is so frustrating in this level is because when Freddy warns you about her, he says,
"The force will not hold her. Hide!"
This would make you think to,
hide!
Considering that a main mechanic in the game is to press X to hide, but there's nowhere to hide in this room. If you try to crouch down in any conceivable hiding spot, blind Roxy locks onto you and runs around like a Black Friday shopper until she bumps into you and kills you. The way around this, which again I don't think is what they intended, is to climb into Freddy and then use Chica's voice box ability to make Roxy run away. And you have to do this within the 5-second time slot you have, or else it'll just automatically kick you out of Freddy just to get jump scared. I'm sure this is what they meant by
hide!
Instead, what I think they were going for is crouching down in a corner somewhere, and Roxy, since she's blind at this point in the game, will walk through the room and you have to be quiet and not move. That's my best guess as to what they were going for, so that's what I did for my version. If the player moves too much while Roxy's in the room, it's game over. I think this is way better than how Roxy behaves in the actual game. If you think so too, make sure to leave a like down below, it really helps me out. And then Chica and Gator were easy, because they just walk up to the door in the vents, and you just have to close the doors in time. And if you don't, you get the sound that haunts your nightmares. Once that was all set up, I just set a timer that sends one of those three every interval, and boom, we have enemies that attack you. Now, Springtrap in this case works a lot different than the animatronics that actually attack you, so I had to take a different approach. To mimic his behavior in the game, I had to use another timer that will make him walk over to the nearest console thingy and try to possess Freddy. In the meantime, I set a bunch of little waypoints for him to randomly walk to. So he'll be making his way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and then boom! He possesses everyone's favorite superstar. Then while he's busy doing that, the player can press a button to burn him with fire, so he can just casually walk away. This time, however, I added a little twist. In Security Breach, if you press the button where he isn't standing, nothing happens. Which, if you were like me, you would just spam every button without even looking at the cameras. So instead, I made it spit fire every time, and then just added a cooldown until you can do it again. So you have to be careful and know which button to press, or it could cost you later if you're still waiting for the cooldown. To know when to press it, you have to look at the cameras. The cameras have always been a huge part of the series, and they were a huge part in Security Breach. Just not really in this boss fight. I mean, sure, you can look in the cameras to see Gator crawling through the vents, but it's not like you have to. There's only one vent, and Freddy always gives you a heads up. So I made 2 vents to at least make it a 50-50, and I created cameras in both of those vents. To create these cameras, I used Unity's render textures. Basically, I set up an additional camera, frame it how I like, and then I set the output not to the player's screen, but the render texture. Slap that texture on a UI image, and we have a classic FNAF camera. I used this technique for both the vent camera and the cameras in Springtrap's back room. Once I implemented all the features, it was just time to make it look pretty. I made some textures out of real-life photos and in Photoshop, trying to match the look and feel the best I could, and now, the game was pretty much done. At this point I realized I kinda got carried away with it and thought to myself, what if I just made this into a full game? So instead of throwing all the mechanics at the player at one time, I sprinkled them out over the course of, you guessed it, 5 nights. I made it so that you start at 12 PM, and every time you burn Springtrap, an hour ticks away until 6 AM when you beat the level. Now, some of you may be thinking, but wait Travis, what about the giant tentacle amalgamation that comes out towards the end? I didn't include that for a very good reason. I kind of forgot about it until I started recording this video, so sorry about that one. Maybe I'll patch it in later. So now after all of that, I present to you 5 nights at Burn Traps. Because I guess that's what we're calling this version of Springtrap now, I guess, I don't know. The internet's a weird place. And that's all I have for you today. If you want to learn more about how I create these games and the free software I use to make them, check out this video right here. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to play the game, it's down in the description and it's totally free, so be sure to check it out and let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks again for sticking around until the end. You guys are the real OGs, and I'll see you in the next one.